Hey there, this is Molly Christensen with Building Heroes Academy, and today I want to talk to you about a pattern that, if you know how to apply it, is going to transform your homeschool. Now, you may have heard of this pattern before, and maybe run across it or whatever, but maybe you didn't know how powerfully this can change your lives. So this pattern is called the hero's journey. And if you've been hanging around with me very long, you've probably heard of it from me before. But I just love to reiterate this because it makes such a difference. I discovered this principle, this pattern probably 10 years ago, but I didn't really understand the whole point of it. So if you're not familiar with the hero's journey, basically, it's the pattern that a hero takes, and you can see this in movies and books all over the place. But basically, you start out with an ordinary character, ordinary person, doesn't feel like they're anything special, and they get a call to action to do something bigger than themselves. And of course, at first, they just want to refuse and say, I can't do that. And so they do, but then something clicks and they decide, yes, I have to do this. And so that's when they start on the path of the hero journey. Now, on that path of the hero journey, they run into different people. And some of these people are trying to help them, and others of these people are stopping them on this journey. So you have friends and allies and other people who are going along on that journey with you. And then this hero also has like a mentor to help guide them, because this mentor's been there before. They've done that, so they know how to help them along this journey. But then there's also the enemies and the people that are trying to stop you, and some of the people may not even realize they're being enemies when they try to stop the hero, but they're there. So, and also along this way, the hero also runs into all sorts of tests and traps and trials and temptations, things to get him off that path. But as the hero keeps pressing forward and moving on, the hero will get through this journey and get to the end and claim the prize. Now, I thought that was a cool pattern to notice in books and movies and stuff, for sure. But what was more cool was when I started to notice it in my own life. So when I get calls to action and I act on them, or I don't act on them, I always have that option to refuse that call to action. But then that means I didn't step on the path of the hero journey. And so hero journeys can be small, they can be big, they can be your whole entire life. So you can go through multiple hero journeys in a day. They can take years, it just depends. But the beauty of this pattern is what it does is it makes your life a lot more predictable. So, for example, with a homeschooler. As a homeschooler, I don't think I've ever talked to a homeschooler who didn't get a call to action to homeschool. We all get this call, and a lot of us refuse. I refused for several years myself. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't want to do it. But once I committed and stepped onto the path of the homeschool hero journey, things changed. And on the way, I found friends, I found people trying to stop me, circumstances, all that sort of thing. But at the time, I didn't know I was on this journey. And so sometimes I would get super discouraged, and I was like, what am I doing? But knowing this pattern in retrospect, and being able to apply it to my own life, I was like, wow, I'm just on this journey, and all I have to do is keep pressing forward and find the people that are going to help me, find mentors who will help me, and not listen to the people who are trying to get me off this path, because I want that reward at the end. I want that reward of good kids who know who they are, who have character, who can serve the world. I want them to be awesome too. And so if I can stick on this path, and I know I'm going to run into tests and traps, I can know, oh, those are just there to help guide me in the right direction and to help me learn and to become a better person. So that really changed my whole perspective on homeschooling when I applied that to myself. But then it transformed our lives even more when I realized it's not just me. My kids are on their own hero journeys as well. And so even though maybe they don't get to choose to homeschool or not, maybe you as the parent do that, but they just have the hero journey of their whole life. And they were called to action when you gave birth to them, right? And so as they start going through their lives, you're their mentor, and you surround them with family and friends that are going to help them along their way. And sometimes they're going to struggle and they're going to have tests and traps and trials, but you know those are all there to help them learn so that they can get to the end, the prize, where they have their reward of knowing who they are, having good character, and being able to serve the world. So, in a nutshell, that's the hero's journey, and I love that pattern. In fact, I loved it so much, and it changed my life so much that that's why I created a whole entire curriculum based on that premise. So, when we can remember that our kids on a hero journey, then we treat them differently. So if our kids are just messing around and goofing off and not doing what they're supposed to be doing, if I compare them to the hero journey, would I go in there as their mentor and say, you guys are so dumb, stop messing around. Okay, maybe sometimes, but, but really, when we can look and remember that these kids are amazing and they have amazing potential, then I'm going to be a lot more encouraging. And sometimes maybe they're going to get stuck in the tests and the traps, but I'm going to know, because I'm traveling this path myself, that I can encourage them to get through that and to keep going and not let them get depressed, So recognizing this pattern in your life just makes the journey so much more fun and doable, because it's not fun to get stuck and wandering around in the middle of your journey when you forget where you're going and what you're doing. So that's another good tip too, is remember that there is an end to it as well. So what I wanted to do is just kind of give you that brief introduction to the hero journey. There's so much more we could talk about there too. But as you teach your kids about that hero journey, as you recognize where you are too in the hero's journey, it's going to help you a lot. So that's basically it on the hero journey today. And this is Molly Christensen. I'm signing off, but I want you to remember that you are a hero and that your kids are too. And if you want to learn a little bit more, you can head on over to www.homeschoolsecrets.com, where I expound on some of these ideas a little bit more too. Maybe not initially in the context of the hero journey, but you'll recognize it. So, powerful stuff.